anxiety and faith. Now you're probably wondering, or you're probably not wondering, why anxiety and faith? Well, for these times that we live in, most of the calls, or many of the calls that I take during the week are those people that are anxious, and they're asking me, everything from, do you think that this is the sign of the end times, to, what do you think that we should be doing? In the reading today, okay, we have now this same or similar crisis here. Joseph of Arimathea, he takes the body, and then they come now, and Mary Magdalene and the other women come, and they want to see now where Jesus is, because they want to perform a proper Jewish burial. And so they come in and they say, okay, who will roll away the stone? And then entering the tomb now, they do not see him. So the very first thing, or the very first emotion that they experience, which I'm probably pretty sure here, is now anxiety. We now want to bury him. And in fact, we have this from now other readings and other Gospels where it says, where Mary asks and says, where have you taken him? Let me go get him so that we may then anoint him and that we may then bury him. So that's where we have this idea of anxiety. So now the anxiety is much heightened because now it's been discovered. Now they're being hunted by the Romans as being followers of Jesus. They're afraid that they're going to get now the same treatment. And then even we have then Peter. What do we have from Peter? We have now Christ saying, you will deny me 3 times. And what does he do? Out of fear and anxiety, he now then also rejects Christ. This brings us to today. Anxiety is anxiety regardless of what the situation is. And so this is not like the common flu, because we're all anxious about whether or not we're going to survive. It's not a question of now recovery. It's been heightened to this sense of I may not recover, I may pass away, or somebody that I love who is older may pass away. And so this makes us now very, very anxious, all right? And it creates in us fear. And the question is, how do we respond to that fear? If you remember, in the upper room, when they were all gathered together after the crucifixion, and Christ comes in their midst, he can see that they are terrified. And in fact, the end of this gospel here, as it says, and they ran from the tomb terrified, and the word ecstasis, we would say ecstasy, but in a different sense. So we see that trembling there, and then he comes among them, and what is the first thing that he does? Lord, didn't you know that this was a quiz, right? He says, Irini imi, my peace is with you. And earlier when he was alive, he told the disciples, he says, the peace I give you is not of this world. Okay, how does that translate? It translates to the fact that the peace that we receive now from the news and from doctors and all of these professionals is peace of the world. If the doctor on TV, if Fauci and all those people say on TV, don't worry, we've come up with a vaccine, it's good, you can go out. If our own governor comes out and says it's okay to go in the streets, that is a peace that is given to you by the world, and you are still anxious. Just because they say it does not mean now that you're going to go out in the world now and you're going to be around other people. This is what Jesus means when he says, the peace I give you is not of this world. What I just said, that's the peace of the world. That does not help. All right? So he says, I give you my peace, erini imi. And now with that peace, now, what is that? Does that mean now that COVID is going to go away because I have the peace of Jesus Christ? Now that I'm not going to get sick? No, of course not. That's not what that means. But what it means is it means now, know that God is with us. And that brings us that peace that whatever his will is, that will be done. And that is that great peace that then doesn't remove our anxiety, but gives it a name. And once we name this anxiety, then it no longer has this fearful component to it, because we know what it is. We're careful in what we do, right? If we have the flu, we don't go around other people. If now we think that we got diagnosed with COVID, we take the treatments and we do what the doctors tell us to do. But we do that through the serenity and the peace that we have been given only by the Lord our God, that nobody else can give. And again, it is not a guarantee. If you then pass away from this, or I pass away from this, what is it that this peace is that we've been given? Well, you heard it in the memorial service. You are the resurrection and the life. And this is, as Christians, what we are hoping for. So we are not like those who have no hope. St. Paul says in our funeral service, we do not grieve as those who have no hope. And so that peace that we receive then is not a worldly peace. It is a peace knowing that whatever God's will is, it will be done. Now, like I said, it doesn't remove all anxiety, because we still need to be careful. We don't go and we tempt God and we walk around and start having people who have COVID breathe on us or anything like that. No, we don't do that. But what we do is that we take comfort and we take strength in the fact that the Lord our God is with us at all times. As some of you may have heard me say in earlier sermons, when I go to the hospital, I see normally two types of people. I see those people that have faith, and I see those people that have no faith. And when they are at the moment of death, and I see them, the ones 100% who now have this belief that he is the resurrection and the life, even though they know that they will die within an hour or within a day, the look that they have on their face is one of peace. It is truly the peace that comes from Jesus Christ. I watched the doctor walk in and take their temperature, but they are going to die. There's nothing that the doctor can do or say. There's no peace that he can offer them. But their faith now gives them that serenity and gives them that irini imi. And when I go into those people that call me at the last minute and they say, Father, I don't know what to do. I'm hoping that you'll come and you'll say a prayer for me. Of course I'm going to say a prayer for you. But when you look into their eyes, there is that fear that those apostles felt. There is that fear now that they are alone. And when you are at the moment of your death, and you stand there by yourself, and all the doctors can say to you is, I'm sorry, but there's nothing I can do. And you look into their eyes and you see that fear, then now you understand and you know the difference between the peace of the world and the peace that is given by only Jesus Christ. So you can be listening to me and say, yeah, this is all a bunch of horse manure, blah, blah, blah. It's the priest pitching party line. But I have been there and I have seen the look on their face, and I know that difference, and I know personally myself what peace looks like. And my prayer is that when my time comes, that faith is what will bring me then to the comfort that it is that I need. And that removes then, or lessens my anxiety. It doesn't remove it, it lessens my anxiety.